Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. And this YouTube channel is viewed by a lot of entrepreneurs, innovators, and people who are passionate about technical advancements and all the versatile changes that are happening in today's world. And I wanted to call in somebody who has seen it, experienced it, and who is an expert in intellectual property. Please help me welcome Mr. ALAIN SOULOUMIAC, and he is an IP lawyer. He has done his PhD in law, and today we are going to talk about how can innovators protect their inventions and why is it necessary at all to protect your inventions. What are the various ways that you can use? Because this is a very less discussed topic. And this plays a very vital role because we are seeing so many technical advancements in the world today, but are they going to be used in a good way or they can serve the evil better is a very big question mark. Here we need experts like him to guide us while we are building innovations that can change the world for the good. Welcome to my YouTube channel, Mr. Allen, and thank you so much for accepting my request.
Thank you very much. I'm very honored.
Yeah. So we have Mr. Allen joining us from France, and I would definitely want him to give us an international and global perspective and also his opinion about and a lot of advice for Indian innovators too. So starting the conversation with a very big question that I had in my mind when I first got to know about intellectual property when I was studying in my college, that why is there a need to protect our inventions?
Yes, we have entered in this 21st century a society of creation and creators. That
Yeah.
is what counts most is what you create. And people do not think so much about becoming employees. They think of having their own companies. And people want to create startups. That's a new phenomenon. This
Yeah.
is the dream of many students in management and marketing and many fields to create their own startups. And it's probably the new world we are building with these startups. But it's very difficult because our system is not well adapted for this. The intellectual property system is mainly designed for big companies. It's very costly, it's very complex. But nevertheless, for a startup, for a creator, intellectual property is essential. There is a key figure I may quote on this topic, and that's really revealing. 40% of the startups which have raised more than $6 million, 40% have a patent. So it's really a key for the success of the startup. In fact, in general, 90% of the startups fail. So really, it is an essential precondition. And why is that? It's very simple. Because if you have intellectual property, you have this property for a long time. So the people you are investing your energy, your life in research and development, and if you don't have any intellectual property, anybody can use your own research. So the startups who has no intellectual property may have a successful discovery, a successful product, but it will not succeed with it because a big company will take it.
Yes. So we are looking at an empowering way where the innovator who has actually created it gets the credit for it, and the person's name is joined with the creation. And I think this is a very, very powerful way. And I want to understand like what are the conventional ways of protecting your creation. And when I spoke to you, you told me about this very unique concept of CreaBooks, where, it is protecting the intellectual rights of the innovator so well, and not with that huge investment that needs to be done in the patents and a lot of processing that goes into it. So could you help us understand this concept as well?
First, we need to understand that this system that we are working on in intellectual property, which is dominated by patent, is not adapted for startup, but it is not in line with truth. Very
Okay.
strange. Intellectual property in the patent system is owned by the first applier. This is very strange. Intellectual property should be owned by the creators, by the inventors, not by the first applier. What is strange also with patents is you don't have to prove you are the inventor. You can own the patent, receive the patent, you just need to prove that your invention is supposed to be new. What counts in justice is the creative work you have done. Intellectual property is not there to give advantage to the friends of the government through the patent office. It is supposed to reward the real inventor and help him to lead his invention and put it on the market. So this is exactly what a CREABOOK does, the opposite of patent. It proves that the creator is the origin of the creation. And this is sufficient as a proof of property. It is by definition a proof of property. And this CREABOOK has been used much before. It was not called this name. But if we say that Newton is the inventor of gravity, it's because he wrote a great book on his creation. If we say that Leonardo da Vinci is the inventor of so many things like tanks, helicopters, locks, and various things, it's because he wrote down his Atlantic Codex and other papers we have which prove he is the first to have created this. So CREABOOK is just a book in which the creator proves that he is the real origin and that this invention belongs to him. In this case, of course, he has the same advantage that in a patent, but we use intellectual property in general and true intellectual property. That is the Burns Treaty. We use books. So the property given to the creator is given worldwide and for 70 years after his death. Not only his life, but 70 years after his death. So it's a very powerful tool. And once again, it is free. Any creator may use it. But people think this is impossible. That's always the thing with disruptive innovation. They think because it's new, because it's not possible, not possible. So we included in the CREABOOK some tools for these people who are not believer. We say you can use it anyway. So we included in the CREABOOK some annexes, crypted annexes, in which the creator can hide a patent or 2 patents or 3 patents. And when they get the money to pay for a patent, in the meantime, they use the CREABOOK as a protection. And when they can pay the money for the patent to extend the patent in the meantime, which will probably take 2 or 3 or 4 years, then they can use the patent because the invention was crypted. You know, with patent, it is forbidden to disclose the invention. So a patent extended internationally, when you have a patent, you need to extend it in USA, China, Brazil, many other countries. And all this together costs something like $100,000 per patent. And to have a good protection, usually you need 3 or 5 patents. No startups can offer this. And this is a main cause of the failure of startups. And CREABOOks is there to solve this problem. I've been working on this for more than 40 years.
That is very powerful. And I would like to break it down about how I understood what you just said. And you can guide me if I am not aligning with what you just explained. First is that the major difference between patent and CREABOOK is that in patent, it is given to the person who first applies for it. And there is no need to actually prove whether you are the creator of that particular thing, right? So it can be actually owned by a big company, or it can be some other's creation, and it may be applied by somebody else, and that person has now rights on it. And in CREABOOK, it is very specifically mentioned that it is your creation, and you can use it like a protection to your innovation and creation. And then when you have the capacity to apply for a patent and you want to, that time, then you also have the facility to do that. So this is mutually a win-win situation. And as you said, you have been working on it for 40 years. I would definitely say you are coming up with something that is very powerful, that is disruptive, and that will actually empower a lot of startups. That empowerment which was necessary. And this is a dilemma that goes into a mind of a startup owner or a founder, that am I doing the right thing legislatively, lawfully? Whom do I consult? Whom do I talk to? And especially when it comes to intellectual property rights. And here I feel that we have got something wonderful that you can offer to us.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I would add that with the system of patent, which was very helpful for the countries which implemented it, because the most powerful country in this world are the countries which employed the patent best. There are 5 countries that own 85% of the patent. 5 countries only. And India in this matter is very low. In India has a population which is above the Chinese population, and the application of patents in India is 10 times lower. So that makes a huge difference. So these 5 countries are China, who apply for the most patent, 1.5 million, USA, 500,000, and then you get Japan, Germany, and Korea. And all these countries own the world, the future of the world, through this intellectual property, which guarantee their investment in R&D and their technological advance. But something also very strange is that most of the big inventions that exist have not been invented by the inventors which are said to be the inventor. For
Yes.
example, in India, the world inventor for radio is Indian. It's Sir Bose.
Yeah.
But in the world, we say it's Marconi, and nobody know about Bose. So we need to come back to the truth. There cannot be any right or justice or a balanced economy if we work with wrong intellectual property and lies. And this is the whole economy we have oriented. Progress is now negative, mostly negative, ecocide for humanity. We need to change the system.
Yes, and this was very powerful what you said, that the economy will progress when we are sticking to truth and real justice. And for a country like India, where startup culture is growing, and we have innovators, so many innovators. When I was studying in college, we had so many projects to do, so many inventions we did, and there were so many groups that could actually turn it into a business, that they could actually turn it into an enterprise. And something like this would be very powerful for them to protect their innovations. So I wanted to understand what is your message for Indian innovators specifically, where the awareness about the intellectual property is not that high. It is there in some part of the economy where people know the word patent, but it's disheartening for me to actually say that a lot of innovators who have the capability are not aware of intellectual property rights. So, what is your advice specifically for a geography like India, which is rapidly growing?
That's a very difficult question. I don't know exactly what to answer. Um, I did invent several invention, and I faced big difficulties, and in most cases it was a failure. I had big invention that were a big success, but they are not mine. Though I invented them, I'm not quoted as being the inventor. When I come to a company with some patents, for example, I had many patents. I took probably 15 or 20 patents in my life. When I
Wow.
come to a company or a venture capitalist, he says, your patents are worth nothing. He says, what count is the money I bring. That's what count. And it is true, because if you don't have the money, then you will not be able to put your invention on the market. All these big startups that which became unicorns, like Airbnb and all the others, or Amazon, they received money to develop this gigantic company they developed. It's very difficult for a small startup with no money to get to the top. These people are very rare. But what the capitalists tell you, what count is money, is wrong. Is wrong. What changes the world, what count is not the money. It's the idea. It's the creative idea. So what the CREABOOK is made for is to register the creative idea. And what counts the most for the most startups, inventor, creators, or human being is not making piles of money. What counts most is being recognized for the work it has brought to humanity. It's old terminology. We say glory, fame. You know that movie actor wants to be at Hollywood and have an Oscar or something like this. The same for a creator. That's what he wants. So the first thing he should do is register his creation, register it forever, so that nobody can steal his creation. And when he has a strong creation, well registered, then the capitalist, the guy who brings the money, is very happy to bring the money because he has the assurance of return of investment. And when he says your creative idea is worth nothing, he's just lying and saying a stupid thing.
Yes, this was a very wise advice because this is what is usually a mental block when we are starting and we are a very small entity. We think money is everything, but like you said, your creativity, your ideas, your inventions is the main thing, and you being recognized for it. Now you know that this is what you're recognized for, and it definitely gives you a lot of confidence to move forward and to sort of support your own journey and to support your own creativity. And I thank you a lot for that advice. And
I
I
would like to add. I would like to add something. I made some studies for many years. I was a counselor of the president of the European Inventor Association, so I met many inventors and so on. And in most cases, in nearly everybody is a creator. The lower class people or the higher class people. If you study very much, you have frames and you don't think another world is possible than the one you've studied in these books. When you are the lower class of people, you don't have this view and you can have really new and crazy ideas. Of course, these crazy ideas, disruptive ideas, are essential. Many great inventions were made by simple people. For example, the electric motor was made by a carpenter who had difficulty to read and write. So if there are more invention, more power in a country than another, it is not because the people are more stupid in this country than in the other or less educated. It is because they don't have this system, unequal treaties, all the system that is founded today to protect the people who are in place and the establishment.
Yes. And I personally had this query and I asked it during our conversations, but I wanted you to address it in the interview as well. And I think you're the best person to answer this. That, like patents are widely accepted and recognized as a system, are CREA books also accepted by the legal system? Or what is the take of the government or of the legal system towards this kind of intellectual protection?
There's always the difficult idea, are you recognized or aren't you? So if you are not recognized, the earth is flat. If Christopher Columbus goes around the world, and especially Magellan, then the earth starts to be round. So it's recognition that counts. It's the idea that people have in the head. But this is not the truth. One strange thing about patent is it protects very badly.
Yeah.
All the small inventors and so on are not really protected by patents.
Hmm.
92% of the patents, the products which are in the patents, don't reach the market. 92%. This is crazy.
Yeah, that
And
is.
it's not because the product is not so good. It's because the patent is impossible. Because most of the people abandon their patent. The startups, there are many, many, many startups, very few take patents, but the number of patents is very, very low. The number of patents in the world is 3.5 million application. This is very low with the creativity of the world. We invent every year billions of creations. So patents are very badly used, and this is a main reason why the system does not work. We need to consider the idea. If your idea, if you make a CREABOOK and you define your idea, maybe it's not in phase with time. Maybe you have a very bad manager team. Maybe you make really stupid slogans and you don't sell anything. But your ideas remain. It is protected. So in 10 or 20 years from now, maybe it will become a reality. And this is essential, is to protect these great ideas. The quartz watch we have now was developed mainly by Seiko, but the invention of quartz being used for clock was made in France at the end of the 19th century.
Hmm.
So we could say this was a stupid invention. No, it was not a stupid invention because Seiko did it some 100 years later. And you find this in many cases. Many of the drawings made by Leonardo da Vinci were really stupid. Parachute, a man jumping in the air and being held by a piece of cloth and falling slowly. Stupid invention. It took probably 500 or 600 years before it came a reality. We need to value all these creators and offer them a red carpet for fame and glory so that our invention can develop much better and not in the way to make money, to make consumer society, to sell more product, to give consumption credit, to live wisely, to live peacefully, to live happily.
Yes, that is a very beautiful intention. And how can an innovator get in touch with you if they have an idea and they want to document it into a career book? What are the ways to reach out to you, and who can benefit from this? We understand researchers, scientists, inventing products, and are there some other people also who can benefit from this?
Um, First, to reach me, there is a wonderful tool which has been invented by an Indian company, which is very bright, which is now a very small company, but every Indian people should invest whatever money he has, because it will be a very big unicorn very soon. This company is called TopMate, and TopMate allows you to open a page on LinkedIn, and LinkedIn is free. And if you become a member of LinkedIn, you will be between among the 1 billion managers, decision makers that today are building the planet. So if you register on LinkedIn, you can then register on TopMate, and TopMate is free. It costs only 7% of the money you make on the product you sell through their system. And they give you a communication media. It is the one we are using today, and it's how we met, and it's really
Yeah.
a great tool. So every creator should first become a member of TopMate, and this is the way to join me. Second, because of TopMate, because of this new machine, I have prepared, and I'm finishing this morning, and I will put it on TopMate very soon, a new product called CreaMaker. CreaMaker is a system that allows any startup to make its own CreaBook. So it's just a formula, a form which the startup fills. It helps step by step the startup to do this form. And then at the end of the process, it can use timestamp. We advise a website called True Timestamp to make this. All this is free. And then it has the proof that it is the first inventor who did this today. And this is essential. And after that, we can accompany the startups, and it's no more free. It costs money. It costs a lot of money because it's very valuable. We help the startup to certify the value of its innovation. So we take the CreaBook made by the startup, but the startup can improve it all the time. So the startup may make a first CreaBook 1 month, 3 months, make other discovery, update it, improve it. When it feels it's okay, the startup should register its CreaBook and ask a certification, because the certification says, yes, what is written there has been tested, has been studied by expert, and it's verified. And of course, for investors, this is essential to have this verification. So we certified the conformity first, then the value of the CreaBook, and last, we certified the originality of the discovery. And when a startup has a CreaBook certified as original, it has a strong value anytime. Even if the product is not totally ready for the market, it has a value. If you patents are not like this, it's very special creation. Patents are made to deliver privilege and monopoly to the friends of the government. It was created by kings for this purpose. The CreaBook is not made for this. It is made to value the authenticity of a creation. So if you take a very nice painting of the 16th century, and you say, wow, it's very, very nice. It's really beautiful. And it's signed Leonardo da Vinci. So this painting has a value of $100 million. But if an expert comes and say, oh, this cannot be Leonardo da Vinci, this is not authentic, this is rubbish, this has been copied from this and this and this, the value of the copy comes to nothing.
Yeah.
So in Carefree, we support authenticity, and we want that the product which are sold on the market all have an authenticity certificate so that the consumer is assured that it has been designed by the creator and that it is not a false rubbish copy.
Yes, and this is very powerful, and your intention is great because it is supporting people who may not have the lot of privileges, but they will be able to make their way through. So, I want to ask you a concluding question. As a highly experienced legislative and standard expert, what is your vision today for the innovators? Can they really answer and address present world challenges? Which closing message do you want to give to every innovator, every creator who has that spark to make some change in the world? What would be your advice to them?
Wow. That's a very nice question, very challenging as well. I would quote two French thinkers. The first one is François Rabelais. In some way created the French language by writing the first French novel in the 16th century, Pantagruel. And he said that science without conscience is nothing but ruin of the soul.
Yeah.
So if we invent atom and if we use it for anything, including destroying people, it will destroy us. It will destroy us, and this is where we are heading now. And this is what Rabelais had said in the 16th century. If we had followed what Rabelais said, we wouldn't be facing the terrible situation we are in today, following the Industrial Revolution. So that's the first idea. We need to introduce this ethic, safety product, looking for happiness and peace of the people, but not negative progress. This is where we were wrong, and we are wrong today, and this is the failure of our generation, of my generation. And now talking to the new generation, I will quote somebody else, a French tragedian called Racine. And Racine said, so I have to translate, it's not very easy.
Yeah.
The fate that opens the barrier to our life offer to our future ambitious objective. And because this fate is exceptional, it is even harder for us to achieve this objective. I will quote it in French because my translation was not so good. Le sort qui de l'honneur nous ouvre la barrière offre à notre constance une illustre matière. Et comme il voit en nous des âmes peu communes, hors de l'ordre commun, il nous fait des fortunes. So the new generation has a big chance. This old generation has given to this new generation a lot of science, a lot of means, and especially the internet and artificial intelligence. So now we need to use these tools in the positive progress, not in the negative progress. And we need all the creators to write CREABooks, and in these CREABooks, they should, they are the owner of their invention, they should take the measure so that their invention are well employed. They have a moral right to follow the way their invention are employed. So in their CREABOOK, they should write in every of them ethical chart of use to make sure that everybody use their invention in a good way and not in a bad manner.
That is wonderful. And thank you so much for your inspiring advice today. I personally got to learn a lot through our conversations, and my attention was never on intellectual property rights before I met you. But from the time that we have started having our conversations, I have sort of started to get the awareness, and I feel that innovators need to know about it. And thank you for helping me spread the word about this thing by coming to my channel, and I hope to have more conversations with you. Every single time we meet, I learn a lot, and it is very. I am very grateful that I could be a part to receive this wisdom, and I hope a lot of people receive your wisdom, and they also draft their career books with you and enjoy the process of being a creator and innovator. Thank you so much, everyone. I will be giving the link to Mr. Allen's top mate page in the description. So you can use the link, book calls with him, understand what CreaBooks are, and protect your innovations for good. Thank you so much for being with us today. Subscribe to the channel if you liked what you see.